there's just one question I want to ask you that I already asked you before, but because I referenced it in this video, I know my subscribers are going to keep badgering me if I don't ask. Um, you mentioned obviously Steve Schirripa, and
Yeah.
he doesn't have a very fond opinion of Robert De Niro, and because obviously my fans are fans of Robert De Niro, a lot of them, they're going to ask, or why does Steve Schirripa hate Robert De Niro so much?
Listen, I mean, maybe I should call Steve and have him tell you.
That'd be brilliant.
Right from the horse's mouth, because I don't know. I really don't know. I mean,
I'd
I
probably
can.
be on Steve's hit list because I think you've seen, haven't you, the video I made on Talking Sopranos where I kind of criticized it. I wasn't the biggest fan of the podcast, and I listed him as one of the
Yeah.
reasons.
Did you ever hear back from him or anybody from that show?
No, no, I mean, I didn't contact them or do anything like that. I
No,
just
no,
kind
but
of,
I mean, did they see it? Did nobody commented about your video?
I
That
don't think
was.
so. No, it was just
Oh,
something I threw out, because I just wanted to give my 2 cents, in case anybody was it, because I made a lot of Sopranos videos and I'm a big fan. If anybody's interested in what I think of the podcast, here it is. But it's just one of, because I mean, you know what, I really appreciate him, and I love the kind of ball breaking and the fact that he's himself. But it's just one of those. I mean, it's a bit like The Irishman, where people expected Casino, Goodfellas, and then they got The Irishman, a different kind of film. I
right.
expect when an announcement was made that there's going to be a podcast about The Sopranos by The Sopranos actors, I think I envisioned something else. And because so many other people have done Sopranos podcasts, just normal random people like me, and they've done a really good job analyzing all the details and this symbolism with the tree in the background, all this kind of stuff. With Michael Imperioli and Steve Schirripa, it was just kind of two guys shooting the shit in a lot of the podcasts, which is great, but it just wasn't what I was probably expecting. So I didn't think it was all that. But if he sees my video, I think my name will be on his because I think he's got a list, hasn't he, of all the people that he hates. And
Oh, he's got a hit list. Yeah, he definitely, and he makes no bones about it when he discusses his disgruntledness towards certain actors and certain people. I mean, he even busts Michael's balls about it, and he says, when I was on the set, you never looked at me, you never said anything to me. And Michael Imperioli says, well, what did you want me to do? Kiss your ass? And what was I supposed to do? I mean, they have a banter there. It's hysterical. I mean, it's like, and Steve goes into his tirade, like why he hates certain individuals, like Pat Cooper, and who's also a personal friend of mine who I always liked. But I had an instance with Pat too that I could see, and it kind of turned me off against him too, where I can understand where Stevie's seeing him in that light, where before I didn't, until something happened to me where he was kind of disrespectful towards me, and I could see that, I could see Stevie's justification for thinking Pat's an asshole, basically.
So what's your theory on why he doesn't like De Niro so much? Because it seems he brings him up a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think of is maybe, I mean, because Stevie's a great actor. From what he's come from and knowing him like I do and what he's done with these characters and everything, Stevie's a good actor.
He's an amazing actor. I mean, that's one of the biggest reactions from Talking Sopranos was that people were saying he's so unlike his character from The Sopranos that it's amazing that he was able to play such a kind of bumbling, sweet, and kind of
kind of dim-witted, right?
Yeah,
kind of dim-witted, dumb.
Yeah,
dumb. You could, he's completely not that way at all. No, I mean, I've known Steve personally when we first landed in Vegas, similar within a few months of each other. He came from Brooklyn, I came from upstate New York, and we knew each other, and we were friends throughout, many years. I didn't know he wanted to be an actor. He knew I was, or struggling, doing plays and stuff around town, but I never knew him to want to be an actor. All of a sudden, he's on The Sopranos, he's on my favorite show, God bless him, and he's doing a good job. You know, he's doing a really terrific job.
Mm.
But as far as the De Niro thing with him, I don't know. I mean, I'm as perplexed as you and everybody. I mean, I don't know. Only he knows, and maybe Michael knows. Maybe they brought it up in one of their podcasts. I don't know. But I can only assume, and then, you know, I don't want to, you know, assume something that is totally far-fetched, but I'm thinking maybe he's reached out to Bob on numerous occasions, or maybe his agent, who he's got a really terrific agent. Maybe they reached out for roles that, you know, Stevie could have easily been great at, played in one of Marty's movies or Bob's movies, and maybe they just rejected him. Maybe they just, as simple as that, or they didn't consider him for whatever reason. I don't know. I mean, I can't see. I mean, other than maybe him trying to reach out humbly to Bob and Bob just blew him off. Maybe that could piss him off. I don't know. That's, like I said, an assumption. I'll have to ask Stevie someday, you know. But I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know why he's so pissed off at him.
Well,
I know.
I had to ask you that question, otherwise I'm going to get executed by my subscribers for having this opportunity. Somebody who knows Steve Schirripa, and this mystery of why he hates De Niro so much, and not asking you the question.
Yeah, I mean, I did find out why he hated Pat. I mean, I did ask him actually just a few months ago. We text back and forth. So I did ask him, and I kind of had an idea why. I just wasn't sure, and he confirmed that was the reason. And I understand it now. I understand why he was pissed off at Pat, because Pat can tend to be really mean-spirited sometimes. He could be very, very bold in what he says, and sometimes he says very biting, sarcastic, and mean things to people that he doesn't like, because Pat doesn't give a shit either. I mean, what you see is what you get with Pat. If he likes you, he likes you. If he doesn't, he's going to tell you, and he's going to express. And that was another reason that endeared me to Pat for so many years, was that he basically told it like it was. He didn't. You knew what you were getting with him, good, bad, or indifferent.
Right.
And that's the way Stevie is, you know. So maybe, you know, the clash of personalities, it's so much similar. Maybe they've had a clash of personalities that way. I don't know, but yeah, he did confirm why him and Pat, why he can't stand Pat. So I understand him now, you know, understand him a little bit more. But with De Niro, I don't know, man. Your guess is as good as mine at this point.
I don't know if I'm just making this up, or maybe Steve Schirripa was talking about somebody else, and I've put De Niro in my head. But I think
no, you're right. No,
I mean, as in the reason why. I think because when he was in Vegas, I can't remember, was he a bodyguard or not? Sorry, a bouncer or something.
Yeah.
He
started out as a bouncer. Yeah, he started out.
He met loads of people who were famous or became famous. And now he's famous, and it's one of those where he remembers the people who were rude, and he kind of, it's one of maybe that a situation arose where De Niro did something or acted in such a way that he thought was rude, and then he remembered that, as he tends to do with the grudges, which is kind of funny.
Well, what's interesting is he did have a scene in Casino where he was a guy at the bar. It was a scene where my other good friend, God rest his soul, Joey DePino, who played the guy, the stabbed gambler. You remember him, the stabbed guy?
Yeah.
In the scene where with the pen.
Yes. Yeah.
In Casino. Well, he's another good friend of mine. I've done a few movies with him, and we became friends. We worked together as on a film that we both produced, and we also acted in a couple of projects together. But Joey DePino was in that scene, and Stevie Schirripa was in that bar scene too.
Really? Can you see him? Can you see him in the shot? I'll have to rewatch it.
Yeah, you can see him real quickly. He's talking with the girl, and then Bob De Niro character says something to Heidi, to the girl. He says, "Hi, Heidi," whatever, and he's talking. Stevie Schirripa's talking to the girl. And they're all at the bar together. Joey DePino is talking to the girl, and then the girl was talking to Steve Schirripa on the other side.
Wow.
So it's a brief scene. If you freeze frame it, and you could see Stevie in the background there. You could see him.
I think
pretty
he
pronounced.
mentioned that once as well. I think
Yeah, he didn't have any lines, no dialogue, but he was in that scene, in that stabbed scene where Joey gets stabbed with the pen.
Interesting.
By Joe Pesci, yeah. So maybe it had to do back then. Maybe he was nice to Bob or something, and Bob acted bad. I mean, I see. Unless you know the guy, Bob is De Niro. I call him Bob because I know him now and whatever. But he's the kind of guy that's so quiet. He won't even. I mean, he very rarely talked to me. Said a few words to me on the set, and he's the one that brought me on, basically, really. But he's so quiet that maybe Stevie thought that he didn't want to talk to him, that he was being rude. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe
I've heard he's really shy. He's really difficult to interview, and it can be misinterpreted as I don't want to be here, I don't want to talk to you, kind of thing.
He's come out of his shell a lot. If you watch recent interviews within the last few years, and with that whole Trump thing, he's really come out a lot as far as voicing his opinion, talking, and not being so shy. But prior, even on the set, when we were doing our scenes at Casino, we'd rehearse, we'd do the scene, and then he's gone. Boom. It's like, what happened to Bob? Where'd he go? He's like a ghost. So he doesn't expel a lot of time or energy where he doesn't have to. It's like he's focused. He's like laser focused on what he has to do. And when he's not doing it, he's gone. He doesn't talk. Joe Pesci will sit and kibitz with everybody, joke around, have a good time. Bob's gone. He's in his trailer. It's like he has no time to waste doing anything other than what he's supposed to be doing at that particular time. So, I mean, maybe again, I'm assuming, I may be completely wrong, but maybe that had something to do with it with Stevie. I don't know.
Interesting.
Maybe that scene, maybe he was trying to warm up to Bob, and Bob just kind of blew him off. I don't know. And maybe that stuck with him, that he felt offended. Because that's very well possible. I mean, if I didn't know any better, I probably would have thought the same thing. I'd feel a little hurt, by the fact that he didn't come around or talk to me or spend any time with me, So I don't know.
I mean, there's probably the added fact of that. I'm guessing, that Steve Schirripa would have been a fan of Bob De Niro's movies. So it's one of those cases of, don't meet your heroes, because you see your hero face to face and then you get blown off, and it's like there's an extra resentment there because you're really hurt.
See, that's a great point. Absolutely. There's that saying, right? Never meet your heroes.
Yeah.
Because you may be disenchanted, you may be you may fall short. Keep them on that pedestal, because once you find out who they really are or what they are, it deflates that whole image you have of them, So yeah, could be, absolutely. But I'm telling you from experience, and from the limited time that I did work with these guys and who they are in the casting process and what have you, these guys are the most giving, the most they want you to excel. They're not there for ego. They're not there to make you be their what's the word I'm looking for? Their scapegoat or their lackey. They want you to excel and make the project better. There's no ego. There's no pretension. There's no anything other than class and integrity all the way with these guys. And they're awful generous and awful good to you, to everybody on that set. So, maybe his silence or his quiet demeanor is misconstrued oftentimes, or if he's disinterested in you or doesn't say anything to you or maybe walks away, it's not meant to be. I don't think it's meant to be personal or a diss in any way. I think it's just his nature, his focus, his ability to just do what he's got to do and not expel any more energy where it's not needed for him.